Hi, welcome in, listeners. This is Marge and Mavens, a podcast hosted by Steph and Kayla, where we share our thoughts on all things literature. Today's episode is about the Beyond the Play series by Reilly, and we're so lucky to be joined by the author today. Now make sure to grab a snack and a drink, unless you're driving, then remember 10 and 2, and come hang out with us while we dive in. Grace, it is no surprise to anyone that I loved your books. Okay, I've literally told you this in person, which is so cool. Man, so for those who are unaware, Grace has a series called Beyond the Play, right? And it follows siblings as they fall in love with their prospective partners, right? So we start off, I believe, with James.
Yes.
Right? The football player. It is a very, fake dating, obviously turns into real dating, because when does it ever stay fake? I guess first and foremost, what books are your obsession, right? So away from writing, stuff like that, who are the authors you're always reaching for? Who are the people that helped you become the author you are today?
Sure. I mean, I actually read a lot of historical romance, which, it's not contemporary. It's totally different. But I like that it's different in that the structure is similar to what I'm trying to achieve, but it has that distance. So I feel like I'm not working when I read it, which is lovely. So I really like Lisa Kleypas, Eloisa James, Alexandra Vasti, all those people, just really good books. But I read across the board, honestly. Pretty much any kind of romance other than dark romance, which isn't really my thing. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. I was like the kid that always was reading usually some kind of fantasy book as a kid growing up. Brought a book in my backpack everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have your book taken away in class? Because that's an event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I think just in general, reading really helps me get ideas for writing. So there aren't too many people I can specifically pinpoint and be like, oh, this author over other authors. But there are so many that, I admire, both in the romance space and not in the romance space, who really do make me want to become a better author.
Mm-hmm. Did you always want to be an author?
Totally. Yeah. I don't remember exactly when I came to this conclusion, but I found it really cool that someone actually wrote the book that I was reading once I learned how to read. I thought that was really interesting, that it didn't just come out of nowhere, right? There was somebody who actually put words on paper, and now it's something that I can read. And yeah, I mean, even from elementary school, I was the nerdy kid that hung out in the library during lunchtime, reshelving the librarian. And I actually wrote a picture book series while I was in elementary school and made some of my friends help me illustrate it and stuff. So way back when, and that has never changed. I'm 29 now. Hasn't changed in, ages and ages, almost 30 years.
That's so exciting. I
love that.
So much love and respect for those who figure out what they want to do and make it happen.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, and especially on the more whimsical side of things, and it's not
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for the whimsy. So going into the actual series, right? Because I have been wanting to talk, right? Who's your favorite brother?
Cooper.
Mine too.
The reason why, though, is he's the glue that holds together the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
He's in everybody's book, and he has a role to play in everybody's book. So if there's a main character of the series, it's him, which is why I like him the best. Everyone is great in their own ways, but he is definitely the heart of the family and the character that carries through all the books, even in First Down, where he's a side character, but he still influences how things go with James. So
it's so kind of funny to me because I read the second book first.
Okay.
That's the one that had popped up on my For You page, eons ago when it did. And I was like, oh, this sounds so fun. And I read this one, and then I was like, oh, that was a banger. Okay, let me go back and read the first one because Sebastian's book hadn't been out yet.
Oh, okay.
And so I read the first one, and I was like, oh my God, look, it's Cooper. And then went and read Cooper's book again before Sebastian's came out, because you see like you see the relationship kind of like budding there, and you're obviously like, hey, what's going on with that? Like, none of us are pointing out what's happening here. And then I finally read the third book, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a banger. I own them all on Kindle.
Thank you.
Right? And then I own one set that I already owned, and then I won that other set.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I was like, I just have a lot of these books now. And so it's really funny because I have a corner of my bookshelf that is just your books.
Nice.
What is your writing process like, especially with somebody that's reading historical romance, but then goes into contemporary in terms of your writing? Like, what is the, from conception to it's in the hands of the readers? What does that look like for you?
Well, it kind of looks different for every book because each book is a unique challenge. And, you know, sometimes it's really easy to get the words down on the page, and sometimes it's a lot harder. For the Beyond the Play books, you know, First Down was really an experimental book where I was tired of not really being able to break into traditional publishing. You know, I'd been trying for a while with different projects with my agent, and it just wasn't working out the way that I had hoped it would. So First Down was kind of like a frustration book where I was like, I want people to be reading my stuff, and I feel like I'm good enough for that, and I'll just publish it myself then. That's fine. So that one was really easy to write because that was, you know, just full on like emotional kind of outburst sort of. And I didn't know what I was doing, right? Which is nice. There's a freedom in not knowing what you're doing. Like, I hadn't actually read, I've read sports romance, but I hadn't read like, you know, it wasn't like I read sports romance for 2+ years and was obsessed with it completely and then decided to write my own. It was like, I love sports. I love romance novels. Why don't I do a sports romance? I had no idea it was so popular when I published First Down. Like, I knew people read it, you know, I was like, okay, like El Kennedy off campus, like similar vibes. We'll do a college set thing. But I didn't imagine that it would be quite so popular. And, you know, it was fun to kind of have this book come out of nowhere, really. So, you know, that was a relatively easy, I guess, book to work on. Breakaway, like by contrast, it was still easy to write, but a lot of it was like, I had reader feedback, and I knew what people expected from romance novels in the indie space, and I knew what people really liked. So, you know, there's a reason why like First Down is pretty like short and compact, because I kind of thought like, oh, the average indie reader probably reads somewhat short books in order to get through more of them because of KU. Which I'm sure is true for some people, and for some niches it really is true. Like, you know, a lot of sci-fi romance will be fairly short. But I learned that the contemporary space, and especially the sports romance space, tends to be on the longer side because there tends to be a lot more spice. There tends to be a lot more like things that you could cut and it wouldn't affect the overall romance plot line, but you still want to keep it in like a friend group thing, right?
Right.
Those kinds of things that is very integral to the indie reader. I learned pretty quickly. So Breakaway was like, I'm going to put everything I want to in this book. I'm not going to cut out anything. And it was really fun to write because, you know, it was basically like, okay, like, let me invent like the nerdy hockey player of my dreams, and then just, you know, have it be like a really fun like plot where the plot itself is spice, right? Like the whole point is that they're working through a spice list. So each of the sex scenes are hopefully like bringing the plot forward and bringing the character development and relation development forward, which I think a spicy scene in a book should do that regardless of whether the spice is part of, like, it doesn't have to be that kind of trope. But in this one, I was really like, I really want to like hone in on that and explore that. So that was really fun to do. And that ended up being a pretty easy book to write because of that. But definitely Stealing Home and Wicked Serve were harder and took longer because, you know, there were more expectations by then. I had more readers by then. I'll say the harder part of the process for me is usually drafting. I find it hard to get started. You know, I spend a lot of time brainstorming and kind of like just thinking about the book, like what are things that I really want to make sure I include? What tropes do I want to explore? You know, the typical like Pinterest board, Spotify playlists kind of thing. Like I do that, like a lot of authors do. But it's hard for me with ADHD and everything to like actually settle into a project. So it often takes me probably like a solid, I don't know, like month or so of trying to draft where I'm like actively drafting and getting to the point where there's good progress being made. I like using FocusMate. It's like this online platform where you're basically like doing a task with someone who's also doing a task. And you don't talk or anything, but you just kind of like explain what you're going to be doing. And then you do it for the time session. And they come back at the end and tell you what they did, and you tell them what you did. And it really is pretty good for accountability, because if I'm in the zone, I'll write fairly quickly. It's just getting in the zone that's hard. But I would say probably on average, it takes me about 3 to 4 months to draft a book. And then revisions, depending upon where I'm getting feedback from, usually a mix now of my editor and betas. Maybe like a solid like 2 months of developmental edits, and then, maybe like another month of like smaller edits and line edits and stuff. I love revisions. That's my favorite part of the process. So getting to the point where we're at revisions is really like the struggle.
And so revisions is like a treat for you.
Oh yeah, revisions is great. Revisions is lovely because you have, I tend to be, this happens almost every time. I will write about 30% of the book, and then I'll be like, I actually messed up. The beginning needs to be very different. When it comes to the beginnings of my books, they tend to be revised pretty heavily. And I'm someone who likes the foundation to be really set in stone. So often I will go back in the revised, while I'm in the middle of drafting the project, I'll go back and I'll rewrite it from the beginning. And then that usually allows me to get to the end of the draft. And the nice thing is it does make revisions a little bit easier down the line because the structure is usually more set in stone.
What are your favorite tropes and what are your least favorite tropes?
I love stuff like fake dating because there's usually some sort of like deal or bet involved. I love deals and bets and like some framework that they can work within to make it seem like, oh, we're not going to get feelings because
we're in total control here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I love anything that's like arranged. So like, this is more of a fantasy thing for me. I know some people do it in the contemporary space, but like an arranged marriage or something is really fun to read. I actually love pregnancy tropes. I know that they're pretty like controversial. I haven't written any yet, but I do really like reading them. They're fun.
Yes.
What else? I love like a good rivals to lovers, like enemies to lovers, I think is hard to do in contemporary because usually the stakes are not high enough to truly pull your enemy, in my opinion at least. But I do love a good rivals to lovers, or like a one-sided rivals to lovers where she thinks that he doesn't like her, but in reality he's like obsessed with her. Love that. So delicious.
Yes.
I love when the guy is really obsessed and like you can tell, and like he falls first, and maybe he's more of a golden retriever type and she's more of a black cat type. Love that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I think anything can be really great as long as it's well done, right? I've read books where I've been surprised by how much I liked something about it, and I wasn't really expecting it. The one trope that I say I'm not like super interested in reading is amnesia. I just find it frustrating. I'm like, get your memories back already. Like for some reason, it's not enjoyable to me. But that said, I'm sure that sometime I will read an amnesia romance and be like, this was delicious. I loved it. It just depends upon who's the one. Like if Allie Hazelwood does it, I'll probably be like, oh, okay. Allie Hazelwood did it and it was perfect. Because for some reason, whenever she does a trope, it's like, oh, that was a great take on the trope. But I probably won't be running toward that anytime soon. And again, like enemies to lovers, in my own writing, I think it'd be hard outside of a fantasy situation to really lean into that fully. I tend to be more on the like healthy communication kind of side of things with my books, at least in the contemporary space. And I know you could probably tell, like, from the Beyond the Play books, like in general, they're fairly like, we're gonna work through our issues and have a healthy relationship.
Yes. I really appreciate the fact that there's not really any like major like third act breakup types. Like there's always some sort of conflict in the third act, right? But I've never once gone into it and been like, they're gonna pull this out for a while, right? Like it's always very like there's going to be some sort of conversation had, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for them to have this conversation. I think that's one of the reasons like Breakaway is my favorite of the series, is because Cooper walks into the situation the entire time very aware that she's got past trauma, that she's going to therapy, that she's got all of these things, right? And so when inevitably those things start sprouting their head, right, he's not like surprised or like, oh, like this girl suddenly is like not the cool and like sexy girl that I thought she was.
Yeah.
You know, and as a girly with mental illness, that's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Because I think anytime you like meet anybody, anytime you become part of someone's life and you're like, hey, these are things I struggle with.
Yeah.
They're like, that's fine, totally valid. But then you show them that you struggle with those things and then it's suddenly not a great time.
Totally.
So I like that Cooper is consistent with the fact that he's like, I'm aware of who you are and I'm here for it. Let's, you know, figure this out. One of my favorite scenes is when she gets hurt at the party and he's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I didn't like that shelf anyway. I'm going to break that shelf tomorrow, actually. What is the biggest challenge in contemporary romance for you as an author and for you as a reader?
Good question. I would say sometimes, you know, when it comes to tension, it's a little harder to do tension in contemporary sometimes because there are less reasons to keep people apart in the contemporary world, especially now with social norms kind of being like, well, if you want to be with somebody, just be with somebody. You know, unless there's something that's really holding them back, like one of them is in a relationship or, you know, one is much older than the other. Like those are more clear-cut kind of tropes where you're like, okay, I can see that there's something that's keeping you apart. If it's just two college kids who are into each other, which is what the Beyond the Play books are, it's like, why don't they just get together right away? It's totally fine. I think that it really comes down to character development and, you know, making it so they have like these lies and these wounds that they're telling themselves that kind of, you know, are preventing them from having the HEA, right? I think one of the fun things in romance novels is you can have the relationship on the page, which isn't necessarily the case with like more old school romance novels, you know, like it'll be something where they don't really like truly get together until the end. Something that I like about a lot of contemporaries now is you get this period of time where they are dating in the book and you know that like they haven't fully gotten to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to be stable enough to stay together forever, but we are together for now. And that can be really fun to explore because you kind of have like waiting for the other shoe to drop, while at the same time giving readers more of the experience of them actually falling in love because they have like the deep conversations, they have more experiences together. Maybe, you know, like there's more relationship development through the spice and stuff like that. You know, it's not like classic rom-com in that they get together like at the end with a kiss and you're like, but we didn't talk about anything. Nothing happened. Like, you know, what is it? Like, what is it that is the proof of concept in that you're going to stay together forever? So I would say, you know, it's definitely difficult to think of those initial reasons, but once you do hit on them, it can be really rewarding to go through them. You know, I find it similar when I'm reading, you know, sometimes if I feel like I'm not getting enough of a spark between a couple, that can be difficult. Or if I'm not getting enough tension to the point where I want to keep turning the pages. But that's, I think, any kind of book, not just contemporary romance. Those are two major things that you want, you know, to be really good when you're reading a book.
Definitely.
Is it hard for you to read contemporary romance when you are such like a big space within it? Like, do you find yourself having a hard time in that genre?
I mean, not necessarily. I do blurb a lot of books. So, you know, it'll be like the editor or the agent comes to me and are like, hey, this author is going to have this book out. Would you consider blurbing it? And that's something where I read it. And because the stuff I published so far is contemporary romance, it usually is contemporary sports romance that I get asked to look at. I will say that I tend to read a little bit less when I'm actively drafting. And if I am reading, it's something lighter that is like different than what I'm doing.
Right.
In revisions, the story is pretty set. So honestly, I can read whatever and it's fine. But, you know, so sometimes it can be a little difficult, I guess. But it doesn't stop me from, you know, there's plenty of contemporary romance that I love. I'm reading the arc of No Place Like You by Gillian Meadows right now. It's delicious. I love it. It's amazing. I've actually blurbed a bunch of books recently that I've just been kind of like slamming through them on my Kindle. And they're all contemporary romance and really delicious. I don't want to, you know, I think it'd be sad if you're an author and your first love is reading and you feel like you can't read certain books, right? Like that would
Right.
be sad. And I think ultimately everything provides good inspiration. So, you obviously don't want to come too close to someone else's work accidentally or whatever, which is, I think, why when drafting, it can be good to be like, okay, maybe I'm reading like a fantasy series and it doesn't have anything to do with this contemporary romance. But, you get inspiration from everything. I think that the tropes that you find in fantasy, it's really fun to think of what the contemporary equivalent would be, or how to bring more contemporary romance structure into like a paranormal kind of situation. They all kind of go hand in hand, and being as well read as possible is a really good thing, not a bad thing.
Have you ever written fantasy?
Yeah, that's what I wrote initially. Yes, and I'm trying to get back there a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. It would be fun to do something not like romantasy with a capital R, where it's like really intense, but like a paranormal light fantasy where it's like it's a romance novel, but there's magic.
Yeah.
Love that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be a goal of mine, is to get into that space in addition to continuing contemporary romance.
With us getting into spooky season, it's right around the corner and stuff. Are there any books you're looking forward to reading in the next couple weeks or next couple months?
I always reread Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. Like a Halloween tradition for me now. I love that book. It is a werewolf and a werewolf hunter. It's just a short novella. It is so sexy. I love her writing so much. She's just amazing and funny and great. It's amazing. Like, it's so, so good. I wish she would write more in that world. So I'm definitely going to read that again. I think otherwise, I don't really have much of a TBR set up right now. There are some series that I'm in the middle of that I would like to finish more of by the end of the year. Like, I'm in the middle of reading the Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh. And I'm like halfway through now. And the books are kind of heavy for me because they're like quite dramatic. And there's a lot in them that is like intense in terms of the magical aspects of it and the kind of darker implications. I don't know. Have you read it? Like, it's...
No.
Okay. It can be really like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Ooh, that's a lot. But at the same time, I do really love her world building. I really love her writing. And I want to get through the rest of them. So I want to get back to that at some point before the end of the year. And there's some other things. But in terms of like something spooky related necessarily, no, I'm always on the lookout for Rex. I don't have anything in mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was looking at my shelf the other day and I was like, oh, I actually own a decent amount of like spookier books that I want to get through. But I've been in such a terrible like reading slump. Like Kayla here has really been put through the ringer recently, just in terms of like we have all of these like really amazing authors and like books that we need to get to reading, and I'm just like I don't got it. I don't. There's nothing in the tank, guys.
Do you have a book that you go to when you're in a slump?
I'll usually go back to something that's fairly light and easy, like an alien romance or something, where you can get through it quickly. Not that doesn't mean anything about the quality. The quality is always great, but just in terms of like a shorter book with less buy-in. Sometimes when you start a book, you're like, okay, there's a lot that I need to commit to here. Like committing to a fantasy series or committing to a contemporary romance that's more on the emotional side. Like a lot of that, sometimes you're just not in the mood, but you want to keep reading. That's when I'll go to something that's lighter, like a sci-fi romance or a light fantasy romance. Or, sometimes I'll go to like a middle grade book or something. I'll read nonfiction instead. That can be helpful. I tend not to reread that much because there's just so many books that I want to read that I don't want to constantly reread. But, obviously rereading like a good Lisa Kleypas is never a bad time.
Right. Yeah. So what's next? Like, what are you hoping to work on either the rest of this year or next year?
Yeah, I have, my next book is coming out June of next year. It's called Yes Chef. It is predictably a chef romance. He's a chef. She's an influencer. They're trying to revive this restaurant that his mentor left him. And it's very much like a classic push and pull in terms of he's grumpy, she's sunshine, They get on each other's nerves. There's a lot of bickering and back and forth. I really wanted to lean into that kind of classic romance tension that you get from like a rom-com or something, where they're just like really good at bantering with each other. But at the same time, you know, they are getting closer and everything. So I really love it. Still in the middle of working on it. So, you know, revisions are in. I'm waiting on feedback from my editor and betas right now. Do another small round. And then hopefully, you know, by like the end of the year, it'll basically be set in stone and we'll be ready for arts and promo and all the stuff that's going to come about the 6 months, because Trad is slow, before the book actually comes out in June. So that's going to be really lovely. Otherwise, you know, I have my next contemporary, which I'm starting to work on. I'm pretty set on what the idea is going to be. It's going to be fake dating, actually, which I'm excited to go back to. I've wanted to write fake dating again for a while. And other than that, yeah, the fantasy thing that I've been hinting at, trying to get my foot in the door in that way too, and kind of, you know, still in the romance space, because I love writing romance and I don't want to not write romance. But there are certain things, like I love fated mates, for example, and that's not really something that exists in contemporary. Like, yes, you can kind of play on like the soulmate idea in contemporary, but it's not.
I need it to be something that's in their blood, bro.
Yeah,
I need it to be.
Like, I need her, you know? So being able to explore some of those tropes that I can't necessarily in contemporary in the same way would be really fun. And I'm just waiting to see how the end of the year shakes out in terms of, you know, what's going to be my you know, my schedule, I guess, going into 2027 or 2026. And then 2027 for when the books would come out. Trad is so slow, guys. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're talking about like 2027, 2028 right now.
And you're like, I don't know if I'm free then. Like, how?
I know. The passing of time, I'm like, this does not feel conceptually like something I can wrap my head around. But okay,
right?
It's weird,
especially with ADHD. I can't imagine.
Yes.
Like I struggle. That's it.
It's so hard
Period.
to
At the end of that,
stick to deadlines. Because I'm like, okay, if I don't stick to this deadline now, it means that next year something bad.
The next 2 years are bad.
So like the deadline for this thing later will have to move if I can't do this thing now. But that later thing doesn't exist to me yet. Like, I can't think of it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That's the most difficult thing about the transition, honestly, from indie to trad, has been working within their system, which is less like pivoty, kind of like, you know, do what you want. If you need to push back a deadline, sometimes it can push back a book a season. There's a reason why Yes Chef is coming out next year, not this year.
Right.
Yeah.
How has social media like shaped your process?
I think it makes me quite aware of what readers are looking for, which is not a bad thing. I think playing into reader expectations, especially in genre fiction like romance, is really important. You don't write a romance novel that doesn't have identifiable tropes in it, right? Like, you don't want to give somebody something where it's like, this is blah, like I'm not experiencing what I thought I would. Reader expectations are really important. If you're going to give somebody enemies to lovers, like, you want to make sure it follows enemies to lovers beats, otherwise they'll know that something's off with it.
Right.
So, you know, I think paying attention to what books are really resonating with readers, why they're resonating with readers, what tropes are kind of interest right now, what are the ways that other authors are promoting their books? You know, like character art is huge right now. Like, that's a way that a lot of people are promoting rather than using like stock imagery. Yeah, I just think that it's important to pay attention to, but it's also important to know when to turn it off. You know, I took an extended social media break after Weighted Serve came out because I was just so tired of promoting this series. I was like, I really just need a break. I've been back on it for a while now, and it's a lot easier now that I can talk about Yes Chef, because for a while I couldn't talk about anything because of the trad stuff. So it was like, yes, I am writing more books, but I can't tell you about them, and I have nothing new to promote. So it kind of was stressful being on social media and seeing everybody else getting to promote new projects, right? And feeling like I'm going to fade into dust and whatever. Now it's a lot easier, but I think really, you know, trying to give yourself some hard limits on what you're going to look at is helpful. My brain will, you know, it needs that. Otherwise it'll go into like a hyperfixation mode of like, you know, I have to do 10 million things related to Instagram. Otherwise, like, my readership will never grow, which is not really true. So.
Yeah, the brain is
The brains are so fascinating in
Yes.
how they hurt our
Also,
feelings.
don't you want us to thrive? Like, don't you want us?
I know, that's so mean.
You and I are the same thing. Like, you could just be happy. What was if there was any, what was the last time you like read something and you were like, man, I wish I would have like thought of this before?
I just read If It Makes You Happy by Julia Olivia, and this is definitely like my top read of the year so far. And it's not necessarily that I wish I had written it, but it's just so well done. It's like this small town single dad who's a baker, golden retriever, black cat kind of romance novel where it's set in the late 90s and it's very like classic rom-com feeling. It was just a really fun book to sink into, and I purposely read it slowly because I knew that I didn't want it to end. And I think if you can get me to read a book slowly because I don't want it to end, that means it's a really good book, at least for me. So, you know, that one I was like, oh, I admire the hell out of this book and this author. I wish I could write prose. Like the way that she wrote The Yearning was so good. I wish I was better at that kind of stuff. Like that's something where I want to improve because I'm like, oh, I see it done so well there, right? Yeah, I would say that one. It was so good. Highly recommending it to everybody.
It's going on the list. Don't
It's
know
on
when
the
the list will
already.
be touched, but the list
Cover
is
is
growing.
so cute too. Oh my gosh, it's lovely. Yeah.
Did you read Ladies in Hating?
Yes.
Yeah, that was so good.
That was another one. That's another one of my probably like top 5 books of the year.
Yeah, it was
I read
so good.
Yeah, it was so good. Oh my gosh, I love her writing. I love the way that she does character development. She is just like so funny in a genuine way, and like her books are so sincere and enjoyable. I'm really excited for her paranormal too. She has like the vampire book that's coming out next year, I think. Yeah, I love that one. I've had a really good streak of reading some really great books this year. There haven't really been many duds, which is nice. Yes. Although, I tend to be I think I know what I like by now, right? And I can kind of self-select if something is not going to be for me, which is, fine. Books aren't for every single person. A lot of people are probably like, oh, sports romance, not for me, So,
right.
I think, I don't know. I've been lucky though. So many good books, especially in the past couple months.
Do you ever DNF books?
I will. If it just isn't really working with me, I try to give it a decent chunk of time or a decent chunk into the book because it will naturally take me a little while to get into a book, no matter how good it is most of the time, which is not the author, that's on me. It just takes me a little bit until I actually focus enough where I'm like, okay, we're in the flow of reading this book, right? So often in the beginning, I'll put it down and pick it back up a couple times. But if I can get past that point and I'm reading, and if it continues to be good, then I'll continue to read it. But if it's really not vibing with me, I mean, there's so many books in the world. I would prefer that somebody would just DNF my books if they don't like them and read something that they like, There's no point in wasting time on something that is not resonating with you because it's art and it's supposed to resonate with you. So,
yeah, I think this year has like forcefully taught me to be okay with DNFing because I've struggled so much with reading that like now if I start reading something and it just doesn't grab me, I think I'll like soft DNF it. Like I'll just like stop reading it, but I won't officially mark it off as like I'm never coming back to it kind of thing.
Sometimes it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that happens to me a lot where I'll be like, it's not the right time to read this book. I know I'm going to love it though.
Yeah. And
right.
so I've slowly been trying to get back into it. I think I'm going to just start grabbing a book off the shelf and just seeing what happens. Yeah. Because I own so many books.
You do.
It's quite a problem now, actually. No. It's getting to listen. When you haven't read a book in a while, it becomes a problem because then they're just really, really heavy dust collectors on a shelf. Like I'm gonna at least try to get them to earn their keep again. I think my noggin is empty. I think I'm all out of questions.
Excuse me. Any events or cons coming up that you are participating in or partaking in, or even as an author or just as a reader?
Not really for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't spoken yet about what I might do for Yes Chef in terms of some appearances,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be like mid next year. I did a bunch this year, and I'm really happy being in my routine again and not going anywhere. It's allowing me to be really productive writing wise, which is nice. Because I've learned forcibly that I am not someone who can work while traveling. So if I'm going to take time to do an appearance or something, like it's still, useful and great. And I do like connecting with readers, but it definitely means like I'm putting whatever I'm working on hold for usually a few days before and a little bit after too, because it takes me a while to get back into that routine. So I'm trying to be more selective about my energy. So actually writing, which is the main thing that I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah. No,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, listeners.
You heard it here.
Yeah. Yes, Chef.
Yes, Chef coming out next year.
Yes.
Wicked Serve just came out?
Wicked Serve has been out for well over a year now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any links and everything will be down below.
Okay.
Feel free to shout out anything else you would like them to do. The readers, the listeners are here for you.
Yes.
Thank you again for joining us here today, letting us yap. I've been looking forward to this for so long.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was lovely.
I am really proud of myself because I gave out a lot of those little business cards at the con. And, like, Kayla's the witness. Like, leading up to it, I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. Like, that's kind of scary. And then taking my, like, work mom with me was good. Because by the end, she was, like, bullying me into, like, giving them out. Like, she would just come to me and she'd be like, hey, I gave out, like, 6 of your cards. I need you to go meet these people. And then I would just kind of, like, waddle up and be like, hi, what do you do here? Like, what caused her to give you the card? I need to know. But it's been great because now I have met so many really cool authors this year, and that's
good.
Always,
that's lovely.
Yeah, that's always great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was really nice to meet you.
Oh my goodness, thank you. But thank you so much for being here. Like I said, listeners, everything will be down below for you to grab. Everything I think is still on KU, so take advantage of it.
Oh, I don't think they're on KU right now, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. I lied to you.
Never mind.
I own them, so I just kind of assumed.
No, it's not up to me. It's up to my publisher what they choose to put into KU. We're trying to get them back into KU, but they're available wherever you buy books, though. So, the audiobooks are really good, too.
Library?
Yeah.
Library, yes, they're in libraries, which is amazing. You can buy them from the library.
Very shocking, but
borrow them from the library. And, you can pre-order Yes Chef wherever you want to pre-order books. We don't have any specific, like, indie bookstore pre-order campaigns set up yet, but a pre-order from literally any retailer is super helpful for trad authors in particular. It's really what publishers use as like the proof of concept for the book, which is, it has its pros and its cons. But if you think you might be interested in reading this book and you'd like to support me, a pre-order is a really great way of showing Avon that people are excited about this book, and that increases the chances of me being able to go do events and things like that when it comes to promoting. So, that's my little PSA about trad books and pre-ordering.
Oh yeah, we're here for it.
You heard it here, folks.
Support your authors. Pre-order the books.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be a little treat for you when you inevitably forget it's happening.
Yeah,
correct.
Or like me, where you end up ordering multiple times, and then I have like 4 books of the. Yeah, it's fine.
I've done that a few times this year. Yeah, I have a bunch of duplicate. I'm looking at my bookshelves right now. I have a bunch of duplicates sitting there because I got so excited that I pre-ordered it
at like 2 a.m. Yeah,
but it's fine. I'm helping my friends.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
Thank you, listeners. We love you. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're staying hydrated, making good choices. Let us know what books you are reading. If you're dealing with a slump, let me know how to fix it. I'm taking all prescriptions at this point. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.